This is a good drill that can actually be done 3-on-2 or 4-on-3. But you have some lines on the court, and you can give them restrictions, and you can say, okay, you're on that corner, you're on that corner, you're on the block, and you're on the block, and you can have 3 people in here in the middle, one less than you have offense. And they try to play defense and just try to get the ball. And what they're learning is actually how to move in defense. So when he takes the ball and he passes it, I've got to move which direction? Towards the ball. They're learning that. And they're learning it inherently. They're not learning it by you telling them. So you have to set the drill up and say, look, they've got 4 guys. And y'all only have 3. But I bet y'all can get the ball. You have to challenge them. I bet you can get it. But you're going to have to work really hard. You're going to have to be fast. You're going to have to move your hands. But I bet you guys can get it. And then they start moving around. They start moving around. And this guy, you're also teaching the offense what? You don't even talk to them. But you're teaching them what? Find the open man. Pass it to the open man. And you're also teaching them, hey, get down and protect the ball. Hey, use a pass fake. And you hadn't even said a word to them. So those things to us are very important. We teach specific things, but we also want our kids to not just play the drill, but understand there's stuff that you can be doing even if we're not talking to you. And, just that you try to hype it up a little bit and teach them that. Now, you could, if Coach Canfield wasn't in, you can say, okay, Dean, get up there. And Coach Canfield and I are doing it. We can do a 3-on-2. Okay? And what I would teach this guy is don't pass it until you're guarded. So in other words, if we're standing back here, don't pass it, Dean, because if you pass it, what's going to happen? We're going to steal it. So then here, if Coach Canfield goes over to guard him, who do you think Dean's going to throw to? So you're actually teaching this person, hey, I got to play between them. I got to be able to see both of them. And you're teaching them some things that they can use in another drill. In your opinion, what do you think is the most important aspect of basketball? Be careful. Dunking. Dunking. If you saw our kids after practice, that's what you would think. That's what they work on after practice. Okay? 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 All right. So we're hearing a lot of good answers. But the game of basketball is very dependent on spacing. Because if you don't have the right spacing, you can't play basketball. So one thing that you can teach your kids about spacing is to put them in the smallest space that you can find and tell them, okay, we're going to play basketball right here. Okay? So what we've done in camp, when we have kids run into like the basketball like it's bees to honey, they're all just following around, and you look up and you got all 8 people right over here in this area because the ball's over here. What we teach them is we say, okay, all right, well, y'all come all in here in the lane and let's play basketball right in here. And then they go, well, why do we have to stay in here? You can't go outside the line. You guys all want to play so close to each other. We're just going to play right here. And that way, Mr. Crump, he can fit in like 75 games at one time. And y'all don't have to play. You don't have to, split gyms. We can have a game going on at that basket and over there. And they can all play right in here. And they kind of get the idea of, hey, we need to spread out a little bit. So if you'll talk to them about spacing and spread out, if we were all over here, where is the spot that's really open? It's over there. Okay? So you've got to teach them, hey, I need you to be in an open spot. So part of this deal is when you're doing this 3 triangle versus 2 passing, or 3-on-2 or 4-on-3, you can start right here and then tell the kids, hey, move out, and really spread them out. And then tell them, hey, which one was easier to play defense on? Where they were really far out or where they were really close inside? And then you can explain to them, hey, that's why we need to have spacing. If you guys spread out, they have a harder time catching the ball, deflecting it. They have a harder time playing defense on you. So teach them about spacing. So that's my opinion. Spacing is the biggest thing in basketball. Now, teams who don't know spacing make it easier for us to play defense. But teams that actually know spacing make it very hard for you to play defense, a.k.a. the Spurs. They made it very hard for the Miami Heat to use their athleticism and their youth to guard them. The Spurs use their wisdom, okay? If I put you guys out here on the floor, first thing y'all do is probably spread out. And you just do that inherently, but you got to teach your kids that. You got to teach them that. Most kids are actually going to run to the ball. They feel like they want the ball. They're going to run to the ball. What you have to teach them is, okay, well, if we all run to the ball, so that puts all 8 of us right here, where can he go? He can't go anywhere. So you've got to teach them that. The other thing I might tell you is really just pick out what's important to you. Pick out what is important to you as far as teaching your kids. One of the what I heard from a very wise coach one day, a long time ago, he said, you need to make sure that you're not teaching your kids plays. You need to teach your kid how to play basketball. Don't teach them plays, because then they become a robot, and guys like me can scout and we can take your play away. You need to take your kid and teach them how to play. So in that regards, pick out what is important for a kid to know how to play basketball. And one of the most important things would be triple threat, defense, little things like that, footwork, all those answers you gave, spacing, passing, ball handling, those things are important. And if you teach those, they'll be better in the 2nd grade, the 3rd grade, so on and so on and so on. Okay? And let's talk about rebounding. There's a misconception about blocking out. In blocking out, when you block somebody out, you cannot move them. That's a foul. All you can do is get position. Every basketball player is entitled to their space. When you start moving them out of their space, that's a foul. I don't know if they'll call it. They call it on us up here, but some of the referees down there, they're not going to see everything, okay? But the new rule, as far as lining up on the free throw line, okay, no, it's not new. This one's been several years, but you can't line up below the block anymore. This is where, when we played basketball, the first person lined up. But now they've started here, and the reason they don't put people here is because they felt like they were at a disadvantage. Okay? Because the ball kind of had to roll off sideways. So this is the low spot now. And the new rule is you can leave. It was an old rule, and they changed it, and they've changed it back now. You can leave when he releases it. So when the shooter releases it, you want this guy to step in. Now, how you teach this is up to you, but the way we teach it is we want him to step towards the shooter. Okay? Not step in front of him. If you want to teach the other side of it, we teach that other guy to get up here so you have some room between you. Okay? And then that way you can make a step in and you've got a little bit of room to go around. So you'll see kids, they're doing this and they're just doing all this, because they're boys. And, you can teach them to get away from each other. You can teach this guy, okay, get way over here and try to get in front of their guy in case you get the rebound. Okay? So boxing out on the free throw, you need to cover that with your kids so they don't have a lane violation and the other team gets to shoot a free throw. But blocking out, you can work on several different things. You can when you're doing your defensive closeouts or you're working on your stance, you can tell them, okay, now that you've done that, I want you to turn around and box him out. Okay, so you can kind of advance that way. You can work on it when you're shooting. But basically, rebounding is just you've got to have inside position in front of your man or the man that shot. And rebounding is a lot of effort. There's not a technique in it because you can't ever tell which way somebody's going to go.